So far we have seen how this Spring MVC application can be written using Maven, and how do we import the project into Eclipse, and how to add Swagger into it. Now let's talk about Spring MVC in a little bit more details. So let's see what happens when you type an URL, which is http colon host name, port number, and then you put the package name in there. The package name that the URL that we define in your controller. So what Tomcat does, it looks for the package name in the deployment directory, which is web apps, reads the web XML there, gets the servlet. The servlet gives the controller and the views, and the controller resolves the view and presents the view. So this is what Spring's MVC structure looks like. There are two layers in there, or three if you like. So there is a dispatch servlet layer, and then underneath that you have handler mappings, controllers, view resolvers, and then you have views. So when a HTTP request comes in, a dispatch servlet consults the handler mapping to call the appropriate controller. Here, the controller takes the request and calls the appropriate service methods based on used get or post methods. The service method will set data model based on defined business logic and returns view names to the dispatch servlet. And the dispatch servlet will take help from view resolver to pick up the defined view for the request. Once the view is finalized, the dispatch servlet passes the model data to the view, which is finally rendered on the browser. So this is how your Spring MVC works. Now let's try to create a HTTP client that makes a request to the methods that we created in our previous example, and try to use them. So to begin with, we go into the directory where we have got our sources. So in my case, we had Java Dev API. Within there we had Hello API. Right, so this is the level where you need to create another folder. So under src main, at the same level where you have all your resources. So I create a new folder called web app. Within web app, I will have a directory called webinf. This is all standard stuff for web-based applications. And in there, I will have a dispatch servlet XML and web XML. Now, if you look at the contents of the dispatch servlet, this is standard stuff. I found it on the internet, copied and pasted. As you could see, there are declaration of namespaces and other stuff in there. Not a great deal. It says what sort of view files there are, so .jsp's and stuff like that. Also, if you look at the web XML, that hasn't got a great deal either. Is again all the standard stuff. What the dispatcher is, so it says dispatch servlet. This is all comes from the Spring framework. So again, standard stuff. Says load on startup, and says where this dispatch servlet XML will be found. Say in the web XML itself, it says within webinf you have dispatch servlet XML, the one that we created earlier. This comes to web XML, finds dispatch servlet. Within dispatch servlet, it knows where to scan for the controllers and resolve the views. So if you open up again this one, it tells you about the views. So .jsp and the prefixes within webinf, you should find /JSPs. All those things are defined in here. Now we need to add now a form, HTTP client if you like, and that will be a simple form. So what do we do? At the web app, in the web app, at the same level as webinf, I create a JSP HTML form in here. If you open this, it's very simple form that just has a button literally and a couple of labels. When you click on the button, all I'm saying is on accident I say go to this space, one hello and first hello. So if you look where this one hello and first hello is found, if you look at our controller, if I could go there, and see, this is the one hello, this is the URL to get to your controller, and the first hello is the part of the URL to get to the method that you want to call, which will call hello world. So that's all you need. So you have, just to recap the things that you have in that directory. Or under src main, you have got a web app directory. That's a standard directory that you have to create it. Yes, within that you got to have webin. Within webin you have dispatcher, servlet XML and web XML, and you have your form, the web page that you want to call. That's all you need. Now let's see if we are managed to call that hello world method from within this form at the click of the button. So it's all in place. I just refresh and rebuild. By the way, to call that index.jsp, you'll have to type in a localhost port 8080 and index.jsp. Let's see. Okay, now let's start our Tomcat server. If I host, see, that's the form I had created. So localhost 8080 and index.jsp, that's the name of the view. And when you click on that submit button, it prints that hello world that we created in our controller. So this is it for adding HTTP client that uses our REST API.